Kerri.
Kerri and Kat. And on today's show, we will be talking about mental health and how it pertains to the African American community.
Yep. So we would love for you guys to chime in. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video,
comment.
and definitely comment on the videos below. So again, today we're talking about mental health. The very definition of mental health is physical and or emotional well-being. We wanted to address mental health. I hate this. We wanted to address mental health because this year has been rough. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to talk from the
definitely. 2020 has tested just about everybody.
Right.
In one way or another.
Right.
It has affected you.
Right. And so we wanted to the only word we can speak is from African American and female. So, you know, I'm sure it across the board, but in the African American community, mental health is either ignored, played down, not taken seriously. There's a lot of words that can be used for how it is addressed in our community, but it's a real thing and it's affecting a lot of people. And we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to do our part in pointing it out, or you know,
speaking on it,
right?
just,
you know what I'm saying? Have a conversation. Yeah. So, what is mental health? Like I said, it's your psychological or emotional well-being, and we wanted your mental health to be at a satisfactory level where you can function in life. You know what I'm saying? Where you are functioning in your everyday life. Yet things happen, but most of the time we get a bounce back. You know what I'm saying? We can
well, I can well, we both have dealt with people on a consistent basis when we were working on the train. That it's like you see how rampant it really is in our community. How, you know, it's dismissed a lot of times. How that person crazy, and this, you know, you're not given to the account of what effects got them to that point, whether it had been drug use or abuse, and it's like they just suppress some things, or it could just be naturally imbalanced chemically in your brain. And it's very important that, you know, when you see somebody or know somebody that is going through something, to try to get them help. Even if it's just speaking to somebody, or, you know, getting them the medical help that they need.
So factors that was she was saying factors that affect mental health, and it's sometimes it can be from something that's small. Well, I can't say small, but something like self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? How you see yourself.
Your perception of yourself.
Where you are in life and how life is going. All of those things surrounded is just adds to your self-esteem and adds to your mental health. So low confidence is the feeling of love and belonging is another one. And I can say I could understand that or I connect to that when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Because family situations and circumstances, we weren't always together. I didn't always fit. To be out to tell the truth, I ran my mouth a lot. Like I spoke like I was an adult, and I was quick to repeat adult situations and stuff that I heard my mama say. And so that kind of put a wedge between me and a lot of the family, because they didn't want to do things around me, because I would always run back to tell my mama, and she would whoosh, and she had a mouth of thunder, so when she repeated it, it would hurt. So I was kind of not in a place of belonging, not understanding why I was there, but being there as a young person, I didn't feel like I belonged, or when I came around, I didn't feel like it was a place I was supposed to be, and that causes feelings of sadness. And oh Lord, that was hard as a child. And then I can't really speak to family breakups, but I can speak to like losses, because I've experienced those. Like in the past 2 years, I've lost two very major two major players in my life. Yeah, my mom and my husband both were lost within a 2-year period. So I went from one to another, kind of got out of one sadness right back into another sadness. So that causes feelings of depression, sadness, mental health issues. So
yeah. Well, I can speak to a level of depression, and it's probably gone. But I guess I function differently because it's like for some reason I'm able to isolate my sadness or my hurt, not internalize a lot of things,
right,
or whatever, because my upbringing was not. It wasn't bad.
Right. It wasn't
I
bad.
want you to know my grandma, she was an amazing woman, but it was like some situations in my life that happened because I have been molested. I have been raped. And that put me in a low place, right, or whatever. But it also put me in a situation where I felt like I blamed myself, right, but it didn't take away from the low feeling, right, or whatever. And as crazy as it sounds, it's like I get low about it from time to time, but not too much. And it molded me into the person that I am now. Right. Or whatever. So I look at it like I went through that to get to the happy me now. Right. Or whatever. Do I have my moments? Yes. Right. We all do. And 2020 didn't help anything. Right. So anything. And for whatever I never sought help for my childhood and preteen and early teen trauma. I never, and I've had people tell me that I should or whatever, but I feel like I'm functioning just fine. Right,
but that's where we are, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
To where I think in our community, like I was going to say, like I've said earlier, in our community, mental health has just become a conversation because it used to be real quick, girl. You know what I'm saying? It was a meme on Facebook, and it was like this man was supposed to wash dishes, or he told his mama he was feeling depressed, and she told him depressed. There's not wash the dishes, right?
And I saw that,
right, and that is definitely what it's like.
That's how it was coming up, and I don't even know if it's a geographical area, a thing, or it's just that's how black people are. Right. It's like, for lack of a better term, we kind of dismiss it.
Right.
We dismiss it a lot or whatever.
And I'm guilty of that, definitely.
I am too. Right. But again, I guess I have done things because, like, I look at what happened to me. Hell, I got over it. Whatever you got going on, get up. That's right. Not right.
Right.
Or whatever. Now, there have been times in which, like when I was working Metro, and the guy with the no clothes on.
Oh, yeah.
I got in trouble. But I wasn't laughing at the guy. I'm smiling at the bus operator.
Right.
Or whatever. But, and his family, in my opinion, didn't give a damn because that boy had been out there for months.
Right.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Right.
Yeah.
But, so what, mental.
I can't help that day.
Right.
I still got in trouble.
Right. Mental health is something that, to each, not going to say to each his own, but everybody handles differently.
Yeah.
So, but it still needs to be a conversation among African American people and families because even though one person might be able to brush it off and another person can't, right?
Yeah.
So because of that person that can't, we all need to have a sensitivity about it. You need to have.
But what do you do when a person is like you see them going through something and you're reaching out, you're trying to give them that olive branch, but they don't take it, or they're closed off, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I have somebody that's close to me who is just real standoffish. They don't want to open up about nothing that's going on, and they have expressed the feeling of not belonging. Right. And it's like, it's only so many words of encouragement that I can give them. And so, because I'm not a mental health professional at all or whatever, it's like I can, you know, do my best to validate, like, you know, give them affirmations right. about, you know, how they are loved and things like that. But it's basically, it's falling on deaf ears.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know how to go about trying to reach this person.
Right.
Because, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying that goes back to, again, mental health in the black community, because I melanated, remember? He's just that word. I like melanated. But because I don't think that we know how. I don't think that all of us.
Some people don't know how to open up.
To open up, and I in all honesty, I'm one of those that don't really, unless pushed, know how to open up or.
Well, I generally. Well, I've always been an open book.
Right.
I'm an open, like, to know me, you're gonna know me. Sometimes you may gain more knowledge than you want to. But it's because it's like I don't, and what's crazy, I'm getting off track though, but what's crazy, as much as I open up, I still hold a lot in.
Right.
I keep a lot to myself. I internalize a lot of things before I open up sometimes or whatever. And it's like, it's still things still traumas that I deal with. And it's like, those are things that I'm going to take to my grave.
Right.
Or what have you, but it's just, you know, we do as a whole need to embrace one another and be, I'm going to use Kerri's word, a support system for, you know, people suffering with whatever, right. Whether it be like depression, just any type of mental, like, you know, and then not just a support system for the people that are going through it, but the extended family that are dealing with it as well.
Right.
Because, you know, like, perfect example, one of my childhood friends passed away yesterday. And she and I hadn't seen each other in a while, right. Or whatever. We didn't communicate on a regular, but, you know, we were Facebook friends or whatever. Right. And it's like my heart went out to her kids, and I cried so hard last night, and I didn't like even realize how much that would affect me. And it's like my heart ached for her kids,
right?
And it's like it's
right.
hard. 2020 is a bitch with an esteem.
It really has been, and it makes you think about your mental health. It makes you start using words like self-care and stressed and depressed and time. It's words that I normally do not use. Like, I honestly had the opinion when people said they depressed, get the out of here, right? Because I've never been in the position where I am so sad that I can't see myself moving forward.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
But you have people that are, and it's right. Like it literally can manifest itself into something physical.
Right.
It literally, like, you know what I'm saying, you can be sad and depressed and, you know what I'm saying, to where it's like you will be losing sleep or sleeping too much, or you'll have aches and pains. Right. And all of this goes back to stress.
Right.
And depression.
Okay, now stress, I understand. Yeah. Because we were talking about it today. Well. Right, but we were talking about it today. Like, I have symptoms of stress. Like, I could get stressed to the place where I don't even know I'm stressed, and my eye would get to thumping, right? And that's how when I start having physical signs, then I recognize that, oh, okay, you know, if nothing else is wrong, and I'm having this symptom, and then I start to think, okay, you know what, you got a lot going on, and you might need to do something. You know what I'm saying? And I was gonna say, like, I've never felt that feeling, but I can't tell anybody else how to feel. Like, I've never felt that feeling of I'm so sad that I can't, but people, but
it exists.
It exists. You know what I'm saying? So I have to acknowledge that it exists, and it's a lot of things that I've never experienced. That's their childbirth. I've actually experienced it, but yeah, I've had a miscarriage before. But there's experiences that are out there that I've never had. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means that I have not experienced it, and so when I have to be empathetic, right? So when I address it, I still have to be empathetic to it, right? So
yeah, but when you were talking about stress, because remember I was like, what does it mean when your eyes? Because like for the past few days, my eyes have been like really twitching and jumping or whatever, and it's my lid or whatever, and she was like, that's stress, and for the life of me, I can't pinpoint what I'm stressed about, because I just go through my everyday life like I've always gone through my everyday life,
right?
Or whatever. If I sit there and let something fester in me or whatever, I'm gonna talk to somebody, whether it be a friend, a family member, or what have you. And the way I used to cope with like my moments of sadness or whatever, I used to write.
Right.
And it is funny because I think it was you I was telling the last time you were here, like that I write poetry and stuff like that. And it's like a lot of people don't know that about me.
Right.
I write.
Right.
Or whatever. I have not written anything in a long time or whatever, but it's like I used to write and I was good.
Right.
I need to get back to that.
Right.
But that's part of my creativity.
Right. And I journal like when I get to the place where I know something is seriously wrong, I get to God like real quick.
Yeah,
like
I'm heavy in the prayer. Right.
Yeah. Once I recognize that my body starts to say, and I guess at this point we're talking about coping skills for just basic levels of mental illness or mental health, like so self-care type of thing. So like she said, she writes and I write, I journal. I'm not a poet, you're right. She got that. She got me doing that. Like when my mom passed and it was a lot, I still had to do life. Like it wasn't life didn't stop. Right, it didn't stop. And so I got to this place where I needed to block everybody out. So I would put my earphones in and start screaming. Because I can't sing not a lick or stick.
I can sing a little bit.
Right, but at one point we was playing Erykah Badu. We had an Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill type of a day.
Oh, that's when we were up in the kitchen.
Yeah, we had a Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu type of day. And we just was singing all that day. And I was like, yeah. And I felt better. You know what I'm saying?
Music will lift your spirit, like for me or whatever. And it's like sometimes when life does get heavy or whatever, like I said, I do get heavy into prayer, and it will shock a lot of people. Right. Yes, I do pray, right, or whatever. I not only do I pray, but I write things down and put them in my Bible, right, or whatever. And I have 2 Bibles, right. Yeah, a lot of people, because people just think I'm a hellion and right. I'm an onion. I have many layers.
Right, and just to be not off subject but on subject, my pastor tell you anytime he was big as hellion it was, but he read his Bible and he would tell you he would be in the crack house or whatever drug house he was in, and his Bible would be open, because that is, if you grow up, if you know, you know. If you know God, you know. And another thing, like the first book I go to is James. Pop that open. That when I get started, the first book I go to is James, because that is the one that speaks to me the first, and then it'll lead me through all the other ones. So yes, one of my coping mechanisms is journaling. First is prayer, then journaling. Of course, Bible reading, singing, exercising, like.
I ain't got to that exercising.
When my husband first passed, I felt like I just really didn't have people that understood, because I had isolated so many people. You say boo wrong to me, and I'm gonna isolate you because I feel like I don't know. I felt like he was against us. So if that was my feeling, I just isolated. So I was by myself in that moment. Like it was just me and me.
Close yourself off there.
Right. It was just me and me. So me had to figure it out because I could not fall apart. It's like it was not time. I had one more niece to have to raise. My sister was still under my responsibility. I did not have it to the time to fall apart. So I had to figure it out. And I had during that time, another pastor that I had, he had died. His wife had to figure out what she was gonna do. So she started going to the gym. Her and her best friend started going to the gym, and they was working out. And so I love spin. So I went to spin class, and that's what I did to. But again, we're talking about. I ain't gonna say lower level, but we are talking about like medium level depression or sadness, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about the entry levels, right? Because if it got to the point where I could exercise all day and I could write all day and I could journal all day and it still didn't help, that's another level. You know what I'm saying? That's another level, that I have not experienced, but we still have to discuss. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because, it happens. It happens that you exercised and it didn't help. It happens that you pray. And I'm not saying, because prayer works. Prayer changes things. But God did still invent doctors. And that
is part of your health.
Right.
That is definitely part of your health or whatever. Because you can't, God didn't. Well, he created.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Utilize it. Yeah. So, and it's one of those things that Black people or African American communities, my mom, my husband even was one like, you just need Jesus and you just need to pray. And yes, pray Jesus, but if prayer and Jesus tells you
you still need to utilize other avenues, right, to get yourself the help that you need.
Yeah, because and another good thing that she talked about is when she talks to her friends or she reaches out to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So and she is one for that, and I had to become one for that because I was exercising and I was reading and I was praying, and me and Kat were cool. You know what I'm saying? We were very cool. We talk on the phone on occasions. We go out. We laugh. But once it started to get heavy, I called. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I did call was honestly because, well, she didn't know the relationship with me and my husband enough to be judgy about it, but I felt like she wouldn't be anyway. So I had to find somebody. That I could call that I don't feel
that
like
was going to be neutral,
right?
And unbiased,
right?
Yeah. So because that's I heard that a lot. That people don't feel that I'm judgmental.
Right.
I'm Judge Andrew. Let me no, I'm just playing. But for the most part, especially if you're coming to me in a serious fashion, right, I don't judge because I don't walk in people's shoes, right, or whatever. I can have my opinion about whatever, but that doesn't mean I'm judging by no means, right, or whatever. Because it's like we all have some effed up ways about us. We all have some dark places that we may have been mentally and or physically. It is just, it's part of life. Right. And I want all of my friends and people that I care about to know that no matter what, I'm here. Right. Or whatever. I may not have the answers to your questions, but I can help you get them. Right. Or do my, I can be with you along the way for you to gain the knowledge that you need to get you in a better place. Right. And what you were saying about how your mom and your ex-husband, Father forgive me, but how they feel that your late husband, right, how they feel like you give it to God or whatever, right, but it's like you still have people who just are chemically imbalanced, right, and they have issues that just going to God is definitely not going to be enough. Right. They need medical attention. Right. And then you have the ones who have people who now, I don't understand how they're new junkies, dope fiends, whatever you call them. The people the ones who have messed themselves up because they're chasing a high. Right. But, that is a symptom to whatever else they have going on. They still ain't touching the root of whatever the problem is because they chasing that monkey to get high. Right. And it's like, and that has messed a lot of people up. And a lot of times there's no coming back from that.
Right. There's
a lot of times, and we've seen it firsthand.
Right.
Where people, you ain't coming back from getting high.
Right.
Or, somebody want to smoke weed, but you can't smoke weed with everybody. Right. Everybody ain't smoking the same thing you smoking.
Right. So let that be warning. Like you can't just plop down with
the people who are dropping dead from K2.
Right. Listen. We've seen some things. We have seen some things. I'm telling you. So it opens up your whole mind to okay, wait a minute. When you deal directly
of addiction,
right?
Because that is part of a mental health problem as well.
Right.
Addiction,
right?
And you can be addicted to. It don't have to be drugs. It don't have to be alcohol. You could be, but it's not going to always be a pleasant experience, whatever your addiction or vice is.
Right.
Or whatever. Some people have a porn addiction. I would like to meet again. We'll talk about that later.
Right. Signs of difficult behavior. That's not okay.
Loss in, what's that? Interest? Oh, in activities.
Signs of depression or signs of mental illness or something is wrong. It really is the signs of depression, but we trying to put it as mental illness so we can address the whole kit and caboodle. Which a sign of sign of depression is different behavior or loss of
interest in a lot of things. They withdraw.
Right.
Or whatever. And I mean, I've witnessed that firsthand from a couple of people.
Right.
Or whatever. And it's like, people contemplating taking their own lives.
Right.
And things like that. And this is going to be real candid right here. I'm not going to pretend that at one point in my life that I didn't think about that. When I was younger, I thought about it and I actually attempted to follow through. But it was like, once it got real, hold up.
Right.
I got shit to do tomorrow. And it's like I snapped out of it, but I know that for some people that's not
the case.
That's not the case. And my experience is not the norm. Or whatever. So which when you're talking about mental health and everything, there is no normal.
Right.
Because it's always something different for everybody.
For everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Everybody is different, right? And so when you deal with or recognize that, a friend or someone close to you is having mental
challenges.
Right. The one of the very first things that is the very last thing on my paper is suggest when you have reached know your limits. Right? I must know my limits as her friend. She must know her limits as my friend. So when that comes and you can't pull me out like the story she was about to tell, first her friend has to recognize it. But say your friend recognizes and they come to you and they say, hey, I'm talking about, or they the signs when they start giving stuff away, when they start talking funny, you know what I'm saying? Start to ask questions. If they come out with a plan and they have a plan, you have reached a limit. When your friend is telling you that I'm finna take my life or hurt myself, and here's the thing, I'm not talking to 20-year-olds and back, I'm not talking to young people, 16, 17-year-olds. They matter too. They can be a part of this conversation too, but for some reason we think people 40 and older or 35.
Because like teenage, it's on the rise because people are getting bullied and things like that. So it's like, I don't know what you were about to say, but it's like for me, from what I see and what I recognize, I see it all over the place.
I do. And because, yes, they are important. Teenagers are important. So, yes. but also we are important. Like people our age are important, and you get to a place where you don't recognize theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you grown. You know what I'm saying? You're expected to be able to deal with certain things.
And at the same time, with people, something that people need to realize, or whatever, and it's like when somebody is really that low and they are really contemplating self-harm, it's you never have to worry about them when they're at their low.
Right.
Did you know that?
I did.
You don't have to worry about them when they're at their low. Because when they're at their low, they really ain't gonna really do nothing. It's when they have that real drastic swing and they're active and they're doing something, because now they have the energy to do it.
Right.
Or whatever. And that's something that I had to learn, because I had a friend do that. And it's like, when they were low, they were good.
Right.
But when they reached that high, it was, they are no more.
Right. So, and I want you to have those experiences. Like, I've not had an experience where my friend has taken her life. And I could not even imagine that being the thing. You know what I'm saying? But it happens every day. It's a thing for somebody right now. So, and again, because we are adults and we feel like they don't do that, but they do. 40-year-olds harm themselves. 40-year-olds constantly harm themselves.
A week or two ago, the lawyer from Brown and Brown.
Right. Hurt himself. You know what I'm saying? Killed himself.
You know, our friends like, hurt? Oh, no, he's not hurt.
Right.
He's no more.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And my husband knew him, actually. They were friends. Well, they were associates because he was a security guard in his building. So they knew each other. So, you know,
you never know what a person is going.
Was capable. He has money. He's been Brown and Brown forever. Like, that's the thing.
Since the early 90s.
Right. I remember their commercials for forever.
Oh, if you stay up late at night, late enough, you'll see them talking about their trip down memory lane coming up and Alton and all that. Oh, right. Yeah, I just seen...
Right.
When there's nothing on TV.
Right. So the first thing I would start off with is know your limits, so that when it's time for you to call for help for your friend, call for help. I don't have no negotiation with you. We finna call. Don't listen. I am your friend. I love you. If you're my friend, I'm your friend. I love you. And I don't want to be on her like, don't come to me and say suicide, because that's just the wrong thing to say. But I am more likely, if you say suicide, I don't know how else to say it, I am going to call. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, if you give me signs, if I recognize signs of my friend.
Something, if you give me pause and me worrying about your well-being, then yeah, I'm going to be proactive.
Right.
And that's anybody that I associate with and or know, because even though I am an asshole,
she can be.
Yes, she can. But it's like I still have a caring heart.
Right.
I don't want to see anybody hurt or harm themselves or anything like that. And especially if you're a part of my circle.
Right. And somebody I love. I'm not gonna even play with you. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
If I you ain't gonna say it. If I feel the signs, I'm going to get help.
And
how I do that, I don't know. Like, I might just call in friends, depending on what I'm feeling. But I'm going to come. I'm going to actively search out help for this situation.
Yeah. And for the people, did you want to bring that up? For the people who may be experiencing something and you want to reach out, then, always feel free to call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline.
Right.
And that number is 800-273-8255.
It's most likely going to be on the screen the entire video, because
it's like, it's really important that we not only just say we care about one another, but actually show it.
Right. You have to definitely show
and it. It's like it starts with you.
Right.
It starts with all of us or whatever, and it's like we have to be more active about showing that we care about one another. Right. We can't sit here and keep screaming Black Lives Matter, and when you see people that are hurting or need to be, and you'd be surprised at how small something as a hug could change somebody's day. You don't know what anybody's going through. That's why it don't hurt to smile at strangers or whatever. So it's like, getting back to what I was trying to say is, you know, we have to be that village for one another.
Right. So, so I started off with, of course, recognizing your limits and getting help. But if it's not that serious, how can we be supportive to people that are experiencing a mental health issue? You know what I'm saying? A crisis, right. And so the first way they say, listen without making judgments. You know what I'm saying?
I'm good at that. But I'm not going to make judgments, but I will make jokes.
Right.
Because that's my coping mechanism, and the way I deal with people is to try to get their mind off